This morning, the world is remembering perhaps the greatest coach in sports history. John Wooden died at age 99 yesterday. Check out his record. Mostly at UCLA, he had an unprecedented 10 NCAA championships in 12 seasons, including 7 straight. At one point, he won a record 88 straight games, and he never had a losing season in all his 27 years of coaching. Wooden died of natural causes. His family says funeral services will be private. And this morning, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger issued this statement. Coach Wooden was more than a Hall of Fame basketball player and coach. He was an incredible man whose dedication and leadership on the court inspired generations of Californians. Now, one man who knew him well is Beau Bridges. You probably recognize Beau from his extraordinarily successful acting career and being a part of one of Hollywood's most successful family. But Beau was also a UCLA basketball player for Coach Wooden and then began a lifetime of friendship with him. Beau joins us live on the phone this morning to share some of those memories. Beau, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for being with us. Sorry we have to talk under these circumstances. When you think of Coach Wooden, what comes to mind for you?
Oh, my gosh, so many things. I mean, I met him, like all those players did when I was so young. I think I was 17 or 18. And for me, just to be on the floor with him was a great gift. I was so excited. I was a walk-on. I think it was 61, 62, something like that. And he was already a legend, even though he hadn't won his first national championship by that time. But I remember sitting on the floor there with leaning back up against the wall with all the rest of the guys who had made the team. Probably half of them were high school All-Americans, so I was just glad to be in the room. And when he came out, of course everyone hushed, gathered amongst all the players, and the first thing he said, which later I found out was the first thing he said to all his new recruits, was, "We will begin by learning how to tie our shoes." And everyone from Kareem to Walton to Walt Hazzard, all the guys will tell you that story, that same story, because he was all about fundamentals.
And so many of those fundamentals in so many of his books. This is one of them, a favorite of mine, Wooden, A Lifetime of Observations on and Off the Court. And he would use you as the narrator for many of his audiobook versions. What are some of the lessons to you that, I mean, there's so many packed into this, but some of the things most important that we all can learn today, even for players today, from Coach Wooden?
Well, I think, first of all, it was interesting for all of us guys that played for him, and there was like, I guess, a little over 300. He stayed in touch with most of us and was always there for you if you wanted to talk to him. I sat on the bench for one season. That was my experience with him as a coach. But he meant so much to me beyond that. And but when we were young, and he would, bring out the pyramid of success, and he would talk about all these life lessons. I think for most of us, we were there to play basketball, so we thought, why is he talking to us about all this stuff, And somehow he made it seem like it was important to basketball, and I guess it was, because basketball is a part of life as well. And at that time, it was what we all were concentrating on. And yet, when we got older, and I'm talking about myself for sure, and I know some friends of mine that played for him, as we got older, we realized, oh my gosh, that's what he was talking about. And you get children of your own. I had 5 kids. I coached all their teams when they were growing up, and of course printed out the pyramid of success and handed it out to all the kids. And that was what was so amazing about his life, I think, was not only did he touch the people who came in direct contact with him, but it just, it was like ripples in a pond, it just spread out to families. I mean, he got to know some of my children, later in life, and he would always go down and eat at the same restaurant, VIPs, for breakfast, and he would sit there and people would come by and he would hold court, Some of my sons would go down there just to see him.
And I know I had an opportunity to talk with him once, and it's amazing how he held court up until the end. 99 great years, and all the generations of people that he's impacted. And Beau, I can't tell you how much it means to us that you were able to share your memories of him today, of a very, very great man, one of the greatest we've had, Coach Wooden.
Yeah, he sure was.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking some time. We appreciate it, Beau, and good to talk with you, my friend.
Yeah, well, have a wonderful day and make each day your masterpiece. That was one of his favorite things for me that he said. All right.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Beau.